Hi everybody, and welcome to my hashtag Friday reads for this week. So I didn't really do a very great job of sticking to the books that I said I was going to read in my last Friday reads. When I sat down after filming and uploading and really had the time to actually read, I got distracted by some other books that have been on my TBR for a while. The first book that I read was a book called Nihal of the Land of the Wind. It's a fantasy novel that was published in Italian in 2004 and has since been translated into German and will be released in the next couple months in English. It follows a young girl who is a half-elf. Her name is Nihal, and she is trying to fight the villain of the story, who is called the Tyrant. She's joining up with, it follows her joining up with these warriors, and kind of struggling with the death of her father. I didn't really like it. A lot of things I found came very easy to her. She never was in formal training to be a warrior, but is kind of magically great at sword play, and she's great at magic really without having to try it. Just a lot comes very easy, and it took me out of that kind of realm of suspended disbelief. The second book that I read this week was Baba Yaga by Toby Barlow. For those of you who don't know, Baba Yaga is a Russian witch in their folklore. She's kind of like a Hansel and Gretel character meets the Greek fates meets, I don't know, kind of like the boogeyman. And the story follows an expat, Will, who is living in Paris at the decline of the Cold War. And Will meets Zoya, who he doesn't know is a witch. And he falls in love with Zoya, but doesn't realize that she's, well, for one thing, a witch. She's wanted by the police, and her kind of sister witch, Elga, is trying to kill her. It was fun. It wasn't really a great read. It was one of those that was kind of neither here nor there. And then the highlight of my week is Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, and then it got nominated for the Arthur C. Clarke Award and won, and it got nominated for the Hugo Award, and is really the front runner, and it's won the Nebula. And it's the story about a world where there are ships run by AI, and each AI is kind of accumulates bodies and people where they become kind of like limbs of the AI, but they have the potential to retain their own memories. And so when the Justice of Torin, who is an AI sent out on an annexation mission, is kind of destroyed, one of the ancillaries, one of the parts of the Justice of Torin manages to survive and starts to go for revenge against the systemic corruption, essentially, that has led to the rest of her ship being destroyed. It's really interesting and has a lot of interesting stuff to say. I'm going to be doing a review of it, so I'm not going to say a whole lot more. But that was the last book I have finished this week. Next week, well, and this weekend, I am going to be reading The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This is an older book, and is pretty famous. It's about a boy who, he's a shepherd and is kind of, he falls in love with this girl and wants to settle down, but he's a shepherd. This one shouldn't take me too long. It's under 200 pages. I'm expecting to have it done by the end of Friday night, if not Saturday afternoon. And then finally, I'm going to be reading Between Two Thorns, the first of the Split World series. I've mentioned before, this is a book that follows a man who gets caught up in this unknown kind of magical world, even though he's from the human world, which is referred to throughout as kind of the mundane world. I'm about 30 or 40 pages into this already, but like I said, it's probably going to take a backseat to The Alchemist because it'll be The Alchemist is a standalone and a shorter read, and I would like to marathon the Split World series. Anyway, let me know what you are up to this weekend and what you'll be reading. I hope you all have had a great reading week. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and all of my social media stuff is in the down bar below.